Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, a wonderful spring night. Weather is beautiful, and I am in one of my best moods tonight because I am home, back to Tate High, this time as a host for education exchange. I would welcome at the beginning Mr. John Karoff and Mike Peterson back to our show. And I would like to give credit to Mr. Doug Cheney and Sue Jen for their efforts in the studio here tonight. But most importantly, to welcome our hero, Will Hollander. This is a very emotional evening, Will, for me. You came back victorious, and I cannot really control my emotions because it's a very special evening to see you here coming after being in the battlefields, defending our country, fighting for our existence. And we are here because of you, and I salute you. Will Hollander, the principal of Tate High, ladies and gentlemen, one of the leaders of our education system here, and one of the heroes of our country. Welcome, Will.
Thank you very much, Dr. Elkadi. I'm honored to be here. We've known each other since, I think, 1997. We had a chance to teach together and serve children together for a number of years, and it's just, it's exciting for me to get to come back and discuss with you the education of Tate High School and where that has come from and where it's going, because I know that your life has been dedicated to this, to the educational function of alternative education in our great city. And so it's an honor for me to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Well, you are the 7th principal or leader of the school, because I think the first couple of them were not principals, right? Were just either lead teachers or deans or something like that.
That's my understanding.
Yeah,
yes.
and you're the 2nd principal. We had Ron Idy first for CEEC, Community Education Experiential Center, or Experimental Center sometimes. And then we had Ted Hom after that for CEC, the Community Education Center, right? And then after that, our late friend, Mr. Danny Thiessen.
Well, we were the Senior High Alternative Center then.
Senior High Alternative Center.
Yes.
And then after that came Mr. Jerry Hora, again for SHAC, and then Stephanie Phillips for Tate, and now Will Hollander.
And it's truly an honor for me to get to come home and step into this role.
Can you give me a little bit more details, history about the school, how the idea, what was the idea?
Well, you probably can speak to that better than anybody in this town, but my impression is the starts were with students that didn't necessarily find the system, the mold of the great big schools to meet their needs. I think typically in the beginning it was students that maybe had more of a creative avenue for how they approach things and really had different ways of expressing themselves, and a smaller environment like an alternative school really provided them that opportunity, and teachers that really in many ways became facilitators as much as teachers to take what they already had and where their interests were and help facilitate to where their education went. Now things have changed a little bit from the original constructs of the alternative school, which is where we are with Tate now, but to me that's where the foundation started, and we still serve many students that that crave those types of experiences. Now it's a little different. We're maybe a little more structured, more similar to a high school, other than we're still small. Not as small as what Shack or CEC were, but we're still small. Serve about 130 students during the day, and then there's an evening program for dropouts that we call the Phoenix program. And Miss Stephanie Phillips was the originator of that idea and got that concept going.
It was her vision.
It was. And she has worked diligently with that, and I'm pretty certain there's about 75 students enrolled in that, which, what can you say? This really is, it's heart-wrenching to think of that many students from our community who are dropouts of school, and now they've got an opportunity to readdress their education, to come back into the fold and try to get their diploma from the Iowa City Community School District. It's just, it really is exciting to see that happen. And for some of the students who came back in and didn't have much to finish, they've already graduated. For others that have a little bit more to go, they're realizing that education is accessible for them and doable, that they're sorry they dropped out, but they're so glad to have that opportunity to get back at it. And there's this light at the end of the tunnel now that says they too can be high school diploma recipients, and they too can go on to college if that's what their desire is, or they can at least reach out to some of those next steps in their workplace. Some of the managerial slots require that they have that high school diploma, and so students are getting new opportunities in their lives. And to me, the payback is for the community. These are people who are going to be staying in our community anyhow, and so to help them move along and see their future brighten and get more opportunities, it pays back in many dividends to the community.
And I noticed, Will, that during your presentation now, you never mentioned the word at risk, which is really the title that a lot of people in the community kind of stigmatize our kids with, you know, and you didn't use it at all. And that's because you just said it, you know, when you said have a different way of expressing themselves. Yeah, I have noticed through the years that I lived with our kids in the alternative education that all what they needed is to be recognized as individuals and as human beings, not as numbers. And definitely there is a very strong family atmosphere in your school.
Absolutely. And as small as we are with our small number of faculty, it is like family. And with that comes all the pros and cons of a real family. We know what's going on with our students. We know what's going on with each other. And it's fun and exciting to watch because people operate from their heart as often as they do from their mind when coming up with solutions to try to help students succeed. They work, because we're so close-knit, they work as a very strong team. It's hard to walk into the hallway during passing time without hearing a conversation of, well, you know, Johnny's been struggling in my class in the last couple of days. Have you been seeing a change? And the communication flows very naturally and very simply, but to the betterment of helping students, because different people have different effects on them, and one teacher might find a great way to deal with whatever Johnny is going through, and if they can pass on that technique or that approach to one of their colleagues to better help that student, then you know, all the better. And again, that's one of the blessings of getting to work in an environment like this that is smaller. And the students know that, they get that, that's why they want to be there, because they are not that number. They are known by all the faculty and get a fair opportunity, I would say, to make mistakes, to grow from their mistakes, and offer their expertise, their knowledge for the betterment of others. And that's all kind of shared, like family.
Before you highlight some of your accomplishments in the school, I would like you, Will, to tell our audience who you are, because you were a leader of an alternative program before you even come to Iowa City.
Yes, I was.
And then your career moved to the conventional schools at City High as associate principal. And then after that, you had to volunteer to serve in the Army. And I want people to know your story, because this is how we are trying to give our kids the idea of a role model, of a person they look up to. And you exemplify this kind of role model.
Well, thank
so
you.
Give our audience a little bit background. When they send their kids to you, they know that the kid is in good hands.
Well, I think the starting place for that is, and it's at the root of who I ended up being, was I joined the Marine Corps right out of school and became a Marine officer, and served in the Corps for 4 years of active duty. And when I left the Marine Corps, then I got an opportunity to work for a gentleman, Mr. Jim Heineman. If you've heard of the company Jiffy Lube, he's the gentleman that started Jiffy Lube. And well, he started finding that his money could be used for helping kids. And he reflected on some of the things he went through in life and decided he was going to open programs for students that had been sent by the court system to a residential program, Clarinda Academy, Southwest Iowa, and I got the chance to teach for him there, and then I became the principal of the school for him. And as we got to know each other, he decided he'd like for me to start my own program. And so I moved my family up to Woodward, Iowa, and we started the Woodward Academy. And that was, a similar program designed for serving juvenile delinquent young men. It was the first part of the program that we set up was designed to meet then and now again Governor Brandstad's idea of having boot camps for delinquents. And so we set up a very short-term program that was very intense, 3 months long. But as we saw the needs in the central part of the state grow, we also opened some other wings within the unit that served longer term, served different kinds of mental disabilities and so on. And so we broadened a little bit on the type of student that we served there. But that's where I got that start, and really fell in love with educating kids and decided that I really needed to get to them before they were in the system like that. And so went back and finished my master's degree here at the University of Iowa, and got my principal license. And that's when you got to know me. I came to teach at the Senior High Alternative Center for a while, teaching math and science. And from there I went to Lone Tree, just south of here, and was the principal for 6th through 12 for 2 years. And then I got an opportunity to come to City High School and be the associate principal there. Had done that for a number of years, and sense of calling for serving in a military role came to me again, and at the young age of 47 I joined the National Guard, and they gave me my old rank back from my Marine Corps days, which was kind of them, but it was an opportunity for me to get to go to Afghanistan then and serve. And as I was coming home, I got to know Mr. Steve Murley, our wonderful new superintendent, and he offered me this opportunity to take over Tate. And I was just honored, because this is exciting for me. These are our kids, and so is that the history you were looking for?
Because and I would like you to talk to me about Christy, about your family, about your kids, because you're married to a terrific educator too. So tell me about the family, and then we'll move to the computer and all the stuff that you want to present.
Well, my wife, Sarah, we were college sweethearts, and she tagged along with me to the Marine Corps, but then she worked with me when we were working at the Clarinda Academy and Woodward Academy. We worked very closely together on that. She was my case manager at Woodward. We have 3 children. Our oldest is Luke. He graduated Luther College last year and is actually on his way to seminary this summer and starts studying Greek. So
I remember him when he was like that.
he's bigger than I am now. But and then Hans, our second son, he's at Winona State studying to be a elementary education teacher and specializing with math and science. And he had some great experiences here and at Hoover Elementary that really led him that direction. And then my daughter is 16 for one more day, and she graduates City High this year, and we'll head up to St. Peters, Minnesota to Gustavus Adolphus College.
Wonderful.
And she's really looking forward to that. But my family is my life, and of course, you know, my faith is very important to me.
Sure.
Those are the guiding lights to what I do.
It's nice to hear educators talking about this.
I think it's important.
Yep. The floor is yours now to tell us anything you want about Tate.
Okay. I just threw a few things up there. A lot of people ask me, where did the name Elizabeth Tate come from? And I'm going to call on my friend Dr. Elkadi here to help me out with this too. But who was Elizabeth Tate? Well, she was born in 1902 in Fairfield, Iowa. And by the time she graduated high school, that census in the state of Iowa had the number of African Americans as 78. And that just speaks to the change in diversity that has happened since those days. But during her time, she moved to Iowa City, and there started the Tate Arms. It was a place for African American students to stay. And as to me, a neat point that not everybody realizes, the University of Iowa was the first public education university in the nation to offer African Americans to study there.
And other people forget that.
Yeah.
It should be in history.
It is. It
Yep.
should be.
Yeah.
And she was there helping them have a place to stay and to board. And then she started working for the University of Iowa in the hospitals.
Yeah.
Worked there many, many years.
With Dr. Frank Aboud, my friend from internal medicine. She
Yes,
went
sir.
in cardiology unit.
Another
Yeah.
point that I know it's on the slide there, but to me it's very important. As the University of Iowa desegregated their dormitories, which in the end closed the Tate Arms because they didn't need it anymore. But that was, I think, 8 or 9 years ahead of the nation.
Yeah.
Exactly, realizing that we need to desegregate in our nation. And civil rights still have a long ways to go, but people should understand the foundation that Iowa had in that and actually led the nation in many ways.
I may interrupt you.
Absolutely.
I wish I do this politely, but I didn't. But this speaks a lot about the fact that are you one of the top schools in the district that has minority kids? I
Yes,
think you
yes,
are.
we are.
Maybe you are the top.
I'm guessing that we are.
Yeah, so the name, as a matter of fact, expresses part of the real goal of the education process. at Tate.
Absolutely. The acceptance of diversity.
Acceptance and tolerance, and then all that, and
That's
equality,
absolutely right.
equity.
And that's why I wanted to bring those topics up. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
She, I think, retired I'm sorry, I don't remember, but she was recognized as the docent for the old Capitol Museum.
Right, and
had
she worked in the
volunteered.
local theater for many years. I don't know if she ever retired. That's why
True.
Elizabeth Tate, that's why you and I cannot really say she retired, because she was in the theater everywhere, and we're going there watching her full of energy and love and taking care of the young people who have talent,
Absolutely. But she endlessly gave of herself, thousands and thousands of hours of volunteer effort, and it meant a lot to many people whose lives she touched. And I think with all those things being said, what a great image to have with our school. And so to name our school after Elizabeth Tate has just so many varied meanings, and it's wonderful.
As a former member of this naming committee, it's my chance historically to give credit to Lauren Reese, because Lauren Reese, who was chair of the Board of Education at the time, is the one who came up with the suggestion.
That's wonderful.
So
I had forgotten that part of it. Yeah, that's great. But then you've already spoken to a lot of the schools and how alternative schooling started, and it really was. It was probably late 60s, early 70s when the concept really took off. I think there was...
it was not in that location, right?
I think it was over the top of what used to be, or is, the Vine downtown.
Yes, that's
upstairs there, and very...
The Futon place, you're right. Yeah.
More of a coffee shop type atmosphere. And it grew from there and got a little bit more structure, and I think probably a little more funding. And so then it went to the Sabin building on the 3rd floor. It didn't make a stop in between there, did it? I think that's where it went.
Yeah, there were a time when the junior high was at the sanctuary building, when the sanctuary is up there. Yeah, when it became a secondary school, junior and senior high, they went to Sabin, but they had the whole building at one time.
Oh, wow.
The reunion is coming soon, and
yes, it is.
The kids would love to see you there.
And there's I'm cooking for it.
You see?
There's 125 so far that have signed up for the union. It'll be the first reunion for alternative school students, I think, since the whole idea.
I read that on Facebook, and I'm for Facebook anyway, because it has a positive part in it that creates.
Absolutely.
And we communicate through Facebook with all the graduates who are coming from various places. I know that Ethan Fox is coming from California to attend that.
Yes. I think both coasts will be represented.
Yeah, exactly.
But that'll be exciting, and I'm guessing by the time we get to June, there will probably be 150 that have signed up.
But thank you for hosting that.
You bet.
Thank you.
Bet. I love to cook, and it's kind of my way to insert it in and learn who everybody
Especially
is.
with Mark Jensen and by your side, who is a professional cook too.
But on those slides, we really covered that part pretty well. Currently at Tate, we've spoken to this too. You know, we're serving nearly 200 students between the Phoenix program that we talked about and the regular day Tate High School. But over the last it was just last month, we had a parent forum where the parents were welcome to come in, and we had some guiding discussion questions, but the point was to try to get people to speak about the experience their students were having and what experience they were hoping for their students to have. And so that, and a survey to the students, and listening to community members and school board members, it's pretty easy to formulate what needs to happen with Tate High School. And some of the missing pieces are true vocational training opportunities where it's hands-on experiential learning, and not just that, but developing skills and trades that can move out into the community and get well-paying jobs. You look at some of the push that the Obama administration is having with manufacturing right now. Well, that need is real. Our local economy has many jobs that need skilled tradesmen, and we're not filling that need. And so when you look at the Kirkwood and University of Iowa partnership, they're going to build that new program up north. That is going to offer some fantastic opportunities for students within the vocational education trades, within engineering. STEM is going to be highly represented through that. but it leaves out a few things or develops a few issues. Since it is really college credit that they'll be going for there, it needs to be students that have who have scored in the Iowa assessments at least at the 40th percentile or higher. And without that, it's harder for a student to try to get into those programs. It's also designed for the older students. So I'm looking at freshmen and sophomores, students who may not be natural fits to slide into college programming, and developing some vocational opportunities for those students so that they can get a taste for what is out there, to get some experiences, and from many different areas. The culinary arts, we've got a wonderful program we're looking at starting for next year. EMT and CNA training, certified nursing assistant, emergency medical training, welding and auto maintenance, wood shop and home construction, cabinetry. There's information technology. There's a lot of areas where we need to provide new opportunities for our students, and that's kind of the direction where I'm going to help take Tate.
What a leader for a great place.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hollander. This program is going to be on Channel 21.
Okay.
Of course, the educational channel. After the board meeting reruns, we are always there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be soon, next week we'll be on Channel 18. We have 2 days, Saturday and Monday at 1 o'clock. Saturday and Sunday at 1 o'clock. And Monday and other weekdays at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
We are on YouTube, the entire program, as well as blip.tv. So our audience can see our program everywhere.
That's great.
We are going to follow you, and you will have enough of us, but we will never have enough of Will Hollander and your creative ability and your heroic role in our community and beyond our borders. Thank you, Will.
Thank you. It's good to see you again, and great to
Thank
get
you,
to talk
ladies and
about this.
gentlemen, and have a very good night. On behalf of John Karhoff, Mike Peterson, Doug Cheney, Sue Jen, and of course, Mr. Will Hollander and me. Thank you.
Thank you.